Hey guys, it's Trisha with Upcycle Stuff. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really simple paper bead bracelet. It's really easy to make, it's also really easy to wear. There's no clasps and you don't need any jewelry making tools whatsoever. But here's what you will need. You'll need some paper beads, which I have some pre-made here. If you need to know how to make paper beads, I'll leave some links in the description below. And that'll bring you back to some other tutorials that I've showed you how to make paper beads. The quantity of beads you'll need will depend on how big your paper beads are to start and how big you need to make your bracelet. But you will need to have them in multiples of 4. So as you can see, there's sort of each section of the bracelet has 4 beads, so you'll need it in multiples of 4. For making your bracelet, you'll need 2 pieces of Stretch Magic cord, and this is what it looks like on the spool. I've cut mine to about 2.5 times the length of my wrist, and you'll need 2 pieces of that. You'll need just a bit of crazy glue, and that's just for sealing your knot on your Stretch Magic cord. And I really like this one because it has a brush on it, so you can be really precise with where you're putting your glue. You'll need some kind of beads. On this bracelet that I made, I have just a metal bead that I've put the each section, connected each section with. But on this one that I'm making today, I'm going to use these bead caps, and I'm going to use them in pairs so that they have sort of a bead look to them. The thing you want to look for is that that hole on your bead is big enough to fit the Stretch Magic cord. The Stretch Magic cord is much larger in diameter than your average beading wire, and you need to fit 2 pieces of cord through that bead. So just keep that in mind. You'll need a binder clip, or if you have them, they make beading little clips. They are like a spring with 2 handles on the end. And finally, you'll need a pair of scissors. So the first thing you want to do is take your pieces of the Stretch Magic cord and pre-stretch it before you turn it into a bracelet. As you wear this and put it on and off over your wrist, it will start to stretch a little bit. So this will just help maintain the original size of the bracelet for much longer. So you'll want to give it a good stretch from one end to the next. And then I usually, the very ends of your Stretch Magic cord don't get stretched in that process. So in order to make it fit through the beads easily, I snip off about 1 inch or so on the ends, because the ends will be bigger than the rest of the diameter of your cord, and that just helps with the beading. Okay. So now take each piece of your cord and place 2 of the ends together. Take your alligator clip and probably, 3 or 4 inches, maybe 3 inches up your cord, you're going to place your alligator clip. You need enough here to tie your knot at the end. So just place your alligator clip on there, and then I'll keep your beads from falling off while you're beading. Okay, now it's time to start beading your bracelet. So you're going to take each of your pieces of Stretch Magic cord and you're going to put 2 beads on each one. 2 of your paper beads. And then pull them all the way down your cord to your little binder clip here. And you give them a good tug, and you'll see it starts to take that shape. Now it's going to come loose during the next process when we start putting the other beads, but when we get to the end of making the bracelet, we'll tighten everything up again so that these pieces of Stretch Magic cord pop apart from each other. Okay, so now take both of your pieces of Stretch Magic cord together, and you're going to take your bead and pass it over both pieces of cord. Alright, so let me get a little close up so you can see what I'm doing here. Sometimes I find it easier to do one string over the other. I'll try it this way first, but sometimes it's still a little bit too wide. So I'll put one string through and then take both pieces and sort of fold it on your bead so that you can pinch that cord together in one finger, and then give it a good little tug so that you're holding it really taut in your hands, and it opens up that hole a little bit more to fit your other cord through. Okay, and then they can just slide through together. And just slide it down your cord. Now if you're doing just one bead, you're going to go on and do your next set of 4 beads, but I actually have, for each of my spacers, I'm doing 2 so that it has a nice finish to it. Alright, so there's my 2 spacers together. Now it looks more like a square bead instead, and once it's put together it'll tighten that up a little bit, keep it straight. Okay, so now you can move on to your next 4 beads, and I have a tendency to do very irregular shaped beads. So in other words, you see the difference in the size. So what I do is I pull out 4 where 2 of them are the same size and the other 2 are the same size, and I alternate. So I'll do a big one and a little one on one side and a big one and a little on the other, so that the total amount of space taken up along the cord is the same on each side, rather than doing 2 big ones on one side and 2 little ones on the other. If you're careful and you make your paper beads all the same size, then that doesn't matter. But sometimes I don't know what I'm making when I make my beads, and I just start cutting papers and I'm not really paying all that much attention. Drag that down, and now do another bead, and then just keep going until you have the size of the bracelet that you'd like. My bracelet is all beaded, so now all we need to do is take the ends of our bracelets and join them together. And we're going to do this with a really simple knot. So carefully, so you don't lose your beadwork, you're going to hold your stretch magic cord while you remove your alligator clips. And then you're going to bring the ends together and you're going to tie a knot. Okay. So just a knot like you're putting a knot in a shoelace. Okay. Once you have that second one tied down, pull it nice and tight. Then hold all 4 strands in one hand, and you want to pull your beads away from that stretch magic cord, and you're going to take some of your crazy glue with this fabulous brush applicator and put it right on your knot, trying very carefully not to get any on your beads, otherwise your beads will stick to the knot. So give that just a little bit to dry, and then when it's safe to release without getting your beads stuck, I'm going to just wrap this around one more time and tie it down again and add just a bit more crazy glue, just to make sure I have a good strong hold. Okay, and hold those beads away, let it dry, and when it's dry, just take your scissors, give it a good snip, and you can snip right up near that knot. You've got the crazy glue in there, so it should hold everything in place. And then you can release it, and it's ready to wear.